Welcome to the hot seat, and I'm your host, Greg Cardone. And today we have an exceptional guest with us, Sarah Emily Waters, actor slash attorney. And you'll want to hear more about her. So just stay with us. We'll be right back.
And your host, Greg Cardone.
Welcome and welcome back to the hot seat. I'm your host, Greg Cardone. It's a beautiful day for an interview. Won't you be my guest? And speaking of guests, we have, again, Sarah Emily Waters, actor slash attorney. Welcome, Sarah. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. I know that you have a very busy schedule, and we'll talk a little bit more about your attorneyism, I guess, in there. But we really want to know more about your role in Grinders. Let me ask you, is that how you are in real life? Are you a Mary Sue?
No, definitely not. I think it actually made the role a lot more fun by being able to really get into that character and have that whole persona and extravagant personality that she has.
Being someone that you're really not.
Exactly. And one of the fun things about acting.
Yeah, it definitely is. Speaking of acting, have you had previous acting experience?
I actually started acting when I was 14, 15 in high school, but I took a little hiatus for college and law school and while I was a prosecutor down in Miami-Dade County in Florida. But when I started my own firm, I had a little bit more freedom to work in whatever schedule I wanted to work in. And it gave me an opportunity to be able to get back into acting, something that I've always been passionate about.
Well, that's great. So how long have you been an attorney?
I have been an attorney since 2015.
Do you like it?
I do. It's nice to be able to help people, and every day seems to be at least somewhat different. So that's one of the other great things about it.
What is your specialty?
I do predominantly criminal defense, family, and then some kind of general civil litigation. I've started doing some trust and estates as well as of late.
So it's, as opposed to specializing in one thing, you diversify a little bit, which,
Yes.
which helps you out.
Yes. And then I kind of see if I can help on the case, if I think I'd be a good fit as an attorney for the person, if I have the knowledge and skill set to do whatever they're asking for. If I don't, I refer it out to someone else or recommend somebody else. If I do, I take on the case, and it gives me really a diversified work, like array of work, which is nice.
Whom were you working for, or were you working for like a firm before you started your own business?
I was. So I was at the state attorney's office down in Miami-Dade for 4 years. I went to three other firms, between that and doing this.
And then you decided to come to Tampa?
Yes.
From Miami. Is it a better market?
I had family in the area. Wanted to come help out with some stuff, some personal matters. So came up here for that and ended up just liking it a lot better.
Well, that's good. That you made the move and you're able to do what, establish your career and be with your family in there. Getting back, we'll come back to this, but getting back to the movie, any particular story that you might want to share with our viewers as being, part of the cast, and since, we're waiting for this to hit the market and hopefully be the next best thing to fossil fuel, what were like your interactions, and maybe you can share a little bit with our viewers.
Absolutely. So I've been on a few different sets. I picked up a few roles when I started getting back into this, and it is definitely the most fun set I've ever worked on. The people were all funny. They were kind. The food was great. It was just a good time being on set. One of the times when we were out at the stunt school, it was really cool to get to talk to some of the people who do the stunts for a living, see some of the things that they use in their practice. So I felt like that was another really neat thing that I learned from it.
Yeah, I learned a lot too, listening to Kahana's, stunt school, listening to Kim, Sandra, AJ, and a few of the other ones. And it was kind of interesting. I'm not really into falling off, 30-foot scaffolds into an airbag. I
Yeah.
try to keep my
Adrenaline junkie. So
well,
about it. I was like, can I try next?
that, so am I. And I'm glad you brought that up. I love extreme roller coasters and, flew planes, race cars, the whole 9 yards. But jumping, I've jumped off a 30-foot tower into water. But,
That still sounds painful.
yeah, but, it's got to land feet first. But, falling off of something and like, yeah, maybe. But maybe that I was older. I just didn't want to, I'd rather rappel off of something, off a building or a wall. That was pretty good. In working around so many people, especially during the scene, and we're going to be coming up and showing a clip for that. There was about 15 people in the scene, extras, and you had Andrew, who was behind the counter, in there. So were you like getting a little amped up, like, okay, this is it. Let me feel the energy and I'm gonna go from there with it, since you had an idea of what kind of calamity that they were looking for.
Definitely. I feel like I played off everybody else's energy a lot, and just really got into it. Like I was fighting over that last thing of meat and I wanted it.
It seemed like you wanted all of it. You try everybody was reaching and grabbing. You were kind of in the front. I was just, waiting for you to walk out with a grocery bag full of
Well, of
it.
course, Mary Sue should get everything she'd like.
Just, I met you for the first time there, as a lot of people. So I had no idea about anybody, hello, hi, how you doing? And that's kind of it, because everybody's going about their own business. But in watching that, again, your facial expressions, I thought that was like really you. Oh, they picked the right person, resting bee face, and, but,
I know what you mean,
but but to see that and to see, how everybody fit in and reacted, with you and Trevor, and you just gave him the look, and he's like, oh, honey, oh dear, he, oh, whatever you
I'm
want,
trying.
and you definitely womped him back into yesterday. That was pretty good. So I'll tell you, let's take a look at that scene, and we come back. You can maybe go through it with us for a little bit. So just stand by, and we'll be right back.
Watch your meat. Come on there. That's it. We're all out.
Well, Sarah, what did you think about that clip? Maybe you can tell us how you prepared to slap the dickens out of your husband, Jackson Hardy.
I think I kind of got more into it as we did more takes, because I know I was a lot lighter in the first takes. I didn't want to hurt him, especially right after he told me he had tinnitus in his ear. But one of the things, I guess, with acting too, you can fake a punch, you can fake all kinds of stuff. You can't really fake a slap. And I was feeding off a lot of the energy too from the extras, from all the people around me, all the commotion that was going on, and really just got into it. And he's like, you can hit me. Okay. Just really started getting into it. And I do think I might have hit him harder every shot we did.
It sounded like it, because I was just off to his right. It was your left. I was sitting down watching that. and you heard, oh, slap, slap, and everybody's making noise. Okay, we need to do it again. There's people, the way they're walking in, and it got louder and louder. Your slaps, not the the vocals in there. And I'm like, oh man, she just like, and he kind of looked at me while it was okay. Well, we need to do it one more time. And he turned around and he looked at me like shaking his head. And he was like getting a real nice red mark on it. I don't know if you noticed, he was holding the meat on his face because it was cold.
That was definitely not scripted. I think he was hurting a little at that point.
Yeah,
I did get him ice after, and I think I've apologized to him every single time I've seen him since. But, and again, sorry, Trevor, but I was not trying to hit him that hard. I'm not quite sure I realized how much I got into it until actually seeing the video and hearing it.
Yeah, it was whack, and he turned around and he had the ice. He was like, yeah, I think she just knocked the tinnitus right out of my ear. You probably hit him harder than he did during his wrestling, career in
He's
there.
mentioned that. I just
And
hope
still
he's
to this
okay.
day, yeah, he's like, do you remember how hard? I was like, yeah, I got the clip of that. You can hear it. That wasn't, audio effected in there. You
No.
got whacked. You had mentioned you were an adrenaline junkie. So am I. You might be a little bit more than me. I'm not quite sure. So tell us about some of your, what's your fix? How do you fix that?
So, like you mentioned, I love roller coasters, but I'm also part of a show skiing team. It's the Central Florida Show Ski Team. And we do basically performance-based water skiing shows.
Wow. And where do you do this at?
We're in Lakeland. We are predominantly at Lake Bonnie, but we also do some other adaptive clinics, which is helping people who have a mental or physical disability be able to ski. And that's really rewarding too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's really
That's
cool.
great. And we will definitely provide our viewers with that information on
Definitely.
where they can come see you, maybe sign some autographs. Yes. So, mention the hot seat and you get a free autograph. Well, they're free anyway, but you can get.
Yeah, wasn't gonna charge for that
one
anyway.
anyway. Now, is that two skis, one ski, barefoot? Do you jump? Is it like that old Cypress Garden show?
It is. It's a lot like that, except we come up with some kind of creative new stuff too. Like my fiance, who's also on the team with me, does stilt skis. So they're raised, I think it's 6 to 8 feet, something like that, out of the water. And that's 2 skis. I do both slalom, which is 1, and 2 skis. We do trick skis. We have people on our team who barefoot. We have jumpers. We have all kinds of stuff that we do. And we're always looking to up the ante and do something different or do something new and cool. Our coach is really good at making different things to allow that to happen.
And how long have you been doing this for?
Only like 2 years. I got into this because of my fiance and just kind of fell in love with it too.
Did you have any water skiing abilities prior to that? So
none. I worked pretty hard at it. I don't know that I'd say it came naturally because it took a while for me to kind of get the hang of things, and once I did, it clicked.
And how many other people do you ski with at one time?
It depends on the day. We do ballet. I mean, ballet lines can be up to 30, 40 people. Ours are usually a lot smaller. We are a smaller team, but yeah, we can take full pyramids off. And that's at a bare minimum, usually 5 people, typically 6 or more.
Wow, that is cool.
We also do all kinds of stuff where I stand on my fiance's shoulders and monkey around him and stuff on the water while he skis. That's cool.
I remember those old Cypress Garden. I have photos of that, and they're 1 foot in the ski, and they've got a ballet and holding the rope with their toe or something like that. Your foot.
They're the originals.
Yeah,
They're the real OGs.
I was really impressed with that. I actually water skied with some people I used to work with many years ago, and out in Auburndale at that Hall of
Oh,
Fame
neat.
school, and that's where they taught me how to barefoot.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, you're on first you start, you're on two, and then you drop to one, and then you're just have, these big wide platform skis. Probably was like a Cypress Garden ski, and that's how they taught you. And then you just put one foot in and balanced it, and then just let the other one go. And then they had you on the boom,
Yep.
which was kind of neat. And, that's where you can learn to go backwards while you were on the boom. And I was like, I took a little bit of water to the face a few times, and then they had their little, 5-year-old daughter who was already barefooting, and she's like, get your butt down. You got to get your butt down.
I love that when the small children are like, no, you're doing it wrong. And
Yeah,
start
little
correcting. It's like,
kid.
I know, I didn't think slamming my face into the water was correct, but we're trying.
And then she climbed out while the boat's going 30, it was like 32 miles an hour on it, like a ski nautique or
Yeah, ski
something.
nautiques.
And she climbed out on the boom while we're going. She goes, let me show you how to do it. And she's like, she's telling me to move further out on the boom. And
Oh,
I'm hanging
wow.
on the end of the boom, and she's scooting. She goes, you got to get down real low. I said, your legs are a little bit shorter than mine.
Just get lower. It'll be okay.
I didn't want to dump her,
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, get back in the boat, and
Climb back in.
but, oh, you know what? And again, this is what I talk about being, on the show and having guests on the show, because you never know what somebody is going to come up with or what they do. And,
So true.
saw you and had no idea, and then find out you're an attorney. And it was like, wow, well, if I ever need your services, but I hope not. And then you find out that you are in a water ski show.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. Oh, that's
Thank you.
awesome. Yeah, we're definitely
Really
going to let
fun.
our viewers know where that's going to be. So we're going to take another quick break here. Hear from our sponsors: Maximus Films, Oleander Public Relations, and H. Melvin James, author extraordinaire for Tares Among the Wheat. So stand by, and we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration paid for in part by Nuggos Wonder Nuggets. See Synth Wunderbark.
Big thanks to our sponsors helping us out on this show here. And if you're wondering why you hadn't seen the hot seat last week, upgrade to new equipment. So thanks again. So we are back with Sarah Emily Waters, actor/attorney. So we're going to ask a little bit about her attorney firm. So Sarah, you mentioned you did family law. Can you
Yes.
give our viewers a little bit of insight on what services you offer? Maybe somebody is looking for an attorney in that field. So, help us out here. Let's enlighten them.
So I do regular contested divorces, which is where the people don't agree. I do agree, like mutual divorces, or where both parties are in agreement of getting divorced, pretty much have an agreement as to how things want to be separated, and just need help filing the paperwork, getting the paperwork submitted, and getting their hearing. I do child custody disputes, which also like time sharing schedules, which is which parent has what kid, and during what time frame on holidays. Usually all of that is set out. Deal with those issues. Contempt issues, which is someone not following a court order and getting that enforced by the court. And yeah, there's some ancillary issues around that too that I've handled, but those are the big ones.
Do you find that when you're dealing with issues like this, that usually both parties accept the terms and go along with them, as opposed to, well, even though one party of the other has rights to see the child, that the other party doesn't follow, what they're supposed to do in terms of the agreement?
I can't really speak to all people because typically people are coming to me if there is a problem. And that's where I feel like I have not the best idea overall of whether or not people follow these. But, like I said, most of the people who are coming to me are because something's not being followed. Uh, and, I see the outliers and the stuff that's gone really wrong in terms of trying to follow these, or the other parent's just at a loss with what to do. And at this point needs help from an attorney, from the court. And we try to deal with the majority of this, or as much of it as possible, out of the court system, through mediation, through, if the other person's represented, working with their attorney informally, basically, to keep some of these issues just out of the courts. I feel like it's most of the time just more beneficial for the family overall. Sometimes things need to go to court, though. If you can't come to a resolution, if you can't come to an agreement, or even with an agreement, it's not being enforced, it's not being followed. And then, you would need judicial intervention most of the time.
Yeah, try to keep it, mutually amicable.
Yes.
So it appears that's where a lot of the court issues come in, where, look, why don't we just settle it and take care of it? But now we're back in the court, and that just starts backlogging, the legal system in there, where, look, we could have got this over and done with, and now it's going to prolong it for another 6 months somewhere.
And the time is one thing. The attorney's fees are another thing, especially families that have kids. I'd rather see them putting that money back in their kids' college fund, putting that money towards, their next vacation, spending time with the kid, especially now that there's a new situation for everyone involved, rather than spending money on attorneys fighting each other. It's just, I feel like, better for the family overall to keep things moving swiftly, to keep things as low cost for these people as possible.
Yeah, sometimes people do it for principle. I was like,
yes,
principle is not always the most reasonable and rational way out. And like you said, spend the money on the family. If you have financial issues, why do you want to give somebody else your own money? Not taking business away from you, but they have to start
I get
somewhere.
it. I'd rather see people put it back to their kids and be able to get this resolved amicably, like through mediation, than drag something out. And it's really not ethical to do so either, but, just moral principle aside from all the ethical considerations, or in addition to them, I suppose, it's better. It's better to see them spend time with their kids. It's better to see them put this towards a new apartment, establishing their new life and moving forward.
I agree. Thank God I was never in that position, but I have friends, and it's like, oh, well, she's not agreeing to this, or he's not agreeing to that. And now we have to go back, and it's going to be another 6 months for the next. And then I'm trying to see the kid, and I'm trying to, and, I feel for those people.
Me too.
Sometimes
You missed out a lot.
I hear it, and, that's not my expertise. So I don't give any legal advice, or, I don't know. That's why you have an attorney, somewhere.
Absolutely.
But this has been a very informative show with you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's fun. That's why I do it. We could have you back on, and when you take on, and who knows, maybe you become an elephant trainer. I know they took them out of Ringling, and, the circus is coming. You might come up with something else. And that's what we're trying to put on the show, is to find topics and people that have something of interest, can benefit others, and in your case, you're twofold. They come out and watch you water ski, and maybe they get to see you in court.
Absolutely. Or try to water ski, We teach people too.
Oh, see, there you go. We try to, get as much information out of you. And so if you want to learn to water ski, we're going to, give you Sarah's information at the club that she's a part of, and
Central Florida Show Ski Team.
And we'll have that in the credits. So mention the hot seat, and I have no control about what happens after there.
And hopefully we'll be back for Grinders too. I'm super excited for the release at the end of this month.
There you go. We got to get it out there. And the Grinders 2 sequel, I'm not going to tell you a whole lot. You wouldn't know, but it really expands on the characters. So, you'll see Mary Sue in a whole different light. That's all I can say here.
It's going to be exciting.
It is. Thank you. Sarah, it's been great having you. And, if anything else comes up, you let us know. It's not a one and done. We're looking to have people come back on as things change in their lives. So again, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And we hope to see you in Grinders 2. And to everybody viewing, again, thanks for tuning in. This was a great show, real interesting for me. Hopefully you found some of the information that Sarah provided helpful. So it definitely was a beautiful day for an interview. Won't you be my guest? And speaking of that, send an email to thehotseat813@gmail.com. And in the subject line, I want to be on the hot seat. I would like to sponsor your show, be an advertiser. We are getting some people that are interested, and we think that's great. So remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until the next time, have a beautiful day.